Hello, Gene Schwimmer here. Welcome to today's vlog. I'm recording this on the day of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. Well, I guess there's a Republican primary too, but I think we can predict the winner of that primary. But the Democratic primary, I think actually we could predict the winner of that primary too. It looks like it's going to be Sanders and then Buttigieg maybe in second place, and a surprising third place finish, perhaps Amy Klobuchar. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'll probably have something to say about the results tomorrow. But today I want to get away from current events to cover something that I've been putting on the back burner. It's something I've been meaning to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about it. It's about, well, let me give you this headline here. I was very surprised and a little bit shocked to read this. Here's the headline. The U.S. has been getting, quote, its ass handed to it, unquote, in war games simulating fights against Russia and China. In war games simulating a high-end fight against Russia or China, the U.S. often loses, two experienced military war gamers have revealed. Quote, in our games, when we fight Russia and China, quote, blue, unquote, gets its ass handed to it, unquote, David Ochmanek, a RAND warfare analyst, explained at the Center for a New American Security on Thursday, Breaking Defense first reported. U.S. forces are typically color-coded blue in these simulations, and the enemy is red. And Breaking Defense, that's the name of the website where this story is posted. The main point is that the U.S. loses. When the U.S. fights China or Russia in a simulated war game, we lose. In these simulated fights, the, quote, red, unquote, aggressor often obliterates U.S. stealth fighters on the runway, sends U.S. warships to the depths, destroys U.S. bases, and takes out critical U.S. military systems. Quote, in every case I know of, the F-35 rules the sky when it's in the sky, unquote, Robert Work, a former Deputy Secretary of Defense and an experienced war gamer, said Thursday. Quote, but it gets killed on the ground in large numbers. And I would just add in here, that's how the Israelis won the 1967 Six-Day War. They destroyed the Egyptian Air Force on the ground before those planes could take off. That's a very obvious danger, apparently, that our very advanced F-35 planes are facing, that they can be taken out on the ground before they even get into the air. Quote, if we went to war in Europe, there would be one Patriot battery moving. That's our anti-missile system. It looks like we only have one Patriot battery in Europe. There would be one Patriot battery moving, and it would go to Ramstein in Germany, and that's it, unquote, Work explained, according to Breaking Defense, the website. Quote, we have 58 brigade combat teams, but we don't have anything to protect our bases. So what difference does it make, unquote? Simply put, the U.S. military bases scattered across Europe and the Pacific don't have the anti-air and missile defense capabilities required to handle the overwhelming volume of fire they would face in a high-end conflict. In a conflict against a near-peer threat, U.S. communication satellites, command and control systems, and wireless networks would be crippled. Quote, the brain and the nervous system that connects all of these pieces is suppressed, if not shattered, unquote, Ochmanek said of this scenario. Work said the Chinese call this type of attack, quote, system destruction warfare, unquote. The Chinese would, quote, attack the American battle network at all levels, relentlessly, and they practice it all the time, unquote, Work said. Quote, on our side, whenever we have an exercise, when the Red Force really destroys our command and control, we stop the exercise and say, quote, let's restart, unquote. Quote, if the United States had to fight Russia in a Baltic contingency or China in a war over Taiwan, Americans could face a decisive military defeat, unquote. The National Defense Strategy Commission, a bipartisan panel of experts picked by Congress to evaluate the national defense strategy, said in a November report. The report called attention to the erosion of the U.S.'s military edge by rival powers, namely Russia and China, which have developed a, quote, suite of advanced capabilities heretofore possessed only by the United States, unquote. That to me is really scary, and it's really scary especially because we have had Trump, well, just recently in the State of the Union speech, but on multiple occasions boasting and reassuring us of how he has rebuilt our military. But according to this, according to actual war games and the actual evaluations by experts, that's not true. We have a lot of weapons, maybe. We've added some more materiel, but in an actual war, we lose. That, to me, again, is very, very frightening. I hope that somebody is talking to the president, that somebody is taking notice of this, that somebody is at least putting more Patriot anti-missile systems in Europe. Actually, more than that, because the Russians have their S-400 anti-missile system to counter our missiles, which my understanding is better than the Patriot system. They are catching up to us, if not surpassing us. And there is also the new technology of hypersonic missiles. I am hoping, well, I'm putting a great deal of hope or emphasis on laser systems, which the Israelis have developed and successfully tested. They may be ahead of us too, the Israelis, on laser systems, in which case, since they are an ally, we should be working with them on advanced lasers, because lasers, of course, operate at the speed of light. That is, in my mind, I'm not a military expert, but just common sense tells me that that is the best defense against a hypersonic missile, not to mention just ordinary supersonic or even subsonic cruise missiles. So again, I hope that we are doing something about this before we find ourselves in a war that we lose. And I'm not talking about an attack on the United States. Obviously, we have a nuclear arsenal. I'm talking about defending our interests overseas, such as Taiwan, and people who don't think Taiwan is important because it's a foreign country. Well, it really is. Not only because it's an ally, but because Taiwan is on the opposite side of China, of the Taiwan Straits, the Straits of Taiwan, through which all of our aircraft carriers, not to mention the world shipping, has to pass. You don't want the Chinese, the communist Chinese, on both sides of the Taiwan Strait. That would be an absolute strategic disaster for us. So I hope I gave everybody something to think about, and I hope our Pentagon is thinking about that. And I hope that all of you will give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with anybody you think would also like the video. Put any comments you might have in the comment section below the video, as well as any questions you might have or suggestions for future topics. I would love all of you to subscribe. Those of you who have not subscribed, I would love you to subscribe. And finally, come back and see me again. I look forward to seeing all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.